For over 55 years, your source for agribusiness news and features from around the Southeast and across the country, focusing on one of the nation's top industries, agriculture. The Farm Monitor is produced by the Georgia Farm Bureau in association with Abraham Baldwin Agricultural College.
As promised, the Monitor is back. Last week, we told you we would see you again. Here we are, minus Jennifer Parson, who is off this week. Nonetheless, she sends her best, wanted me to pass along this message. And that message, we think you're going to like what you see today. Coming up, with farm challenges mounting, one congressman listens in the place that matters most, the farm. Also on the program, you're going to meet Ramiah Stevens, Georgia's new FFA state president, whose passion for plants and people is inspiring a new generation. Damon Jones dives into her journey from beginner to leader. And then later, she walked away from corporate ag to return home, and now from the fields to Facebook to Capitol Hill, Julie Hardy is making her voice count for Georgia farmers. These stories and so much more starting right now. On a peaceful Friday morning in Greene County, the pastures of Duval Farm served as more than just a grazing area for cattle. They became a gathering place for conversation, connection, and policy. Congressman Mike Collins, who represents Georgia's 10th District, joined American Farm Bureau President Zippy Duval, the farm's owner, for a tour of Duval's operation, where the two discussed the daily challenges and triumphs of modern agriculture. For Congressman Collins, it also served as a stress reliever from the daily pressures of Washington, D.C.
We cannot do our job fully unless we're in Washington, D.C. I realize that. But when we can and when we can get out here in our district and just be in places like this, you can decompress so easy and just let things go and really get back to home, know what it's like.
In Farm Bureau, what we do best is provide one united voice of American farmers and ranchers, and what better way to do that is out on our farm.
The visit, hosted by Duval and supported by Georgia Farm Bureau, included a traditional barbecue lunch and a meet and greet with local producers and leaders from Greene and Morgan counties, including Georgia Farm Bureau President Tom McCall and representatives from key ag sectors across the state. But the heart of the day came during a discussion where nearly 30 attendees brought concerns to the table. Everything from Farm Bill priorities and labor challenges to disaster relief and input costs.
We would love to have more congressmen come out. I think there's a lot that goes along with being able to see what's happening on a farm and being able to hear the real life stories of the farmers when you're in that situation, you're in that scenario. So we would love to have congressmen come out and visit more farms just so they can see it for themselves and make it a little bit more real what they're working on.
Well, when you pull up in the yard and you can't find somewhere to park because of all the pickup trucks with the fuel tanks on the back, you know it's a good day because it's farmers here. And not only do we appreciate Zippy and Jenna for hosting this, but I really and truly appreciate all these farmers coming out to talk to Congressman Collins about their concerns when they need to be in the hayfield or planting or laying by corn this time of year. But it was a good day. The congressman listened, he interacted, and all of his staff that was with him were taking notes.
As Congressman Collins wrapped up his visit, he left with a deeper understanding of what it means to farm in Georgia and a commitment to take those voices back to Capitol Hill.
Farming is generational. And, these are second, third, fourth generations of people that are in the farming industry. And they've seen the changes that have gradually just put them in a position where they're no longer competitive, especially on the world market. And that's where we need to, as a federal government, make sure that we're not interfering to the point to where they cannot make a living, and in things when it's not under their ability to prevent, say like imports, then as a federal government we need to make sure that we step up and protect them and make sure that they stay in business.
Without farmers, that food chain, that food that we enjoy every day, 365 days a year, and go to the grocery store and buy anything we want, anytime we want it, is because the farmers and ranchers make those sacrifices to do that work.
Yeah, some good conversation, and in full disclosure, the barbecue was superb as well. Meantime, creating a sense of belonging and purpose. It's one of the cornerstones for Georgia FFA. And that's what really drew newly elected Georgia State President Ramiah Stevens to the organization, despite not growing up around agriculture. Damon Jones takes a closer look at her journey and what it took to get there.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you your 2025-2026 State FFA President from the Rutland High FFA Chapter, Ramiah Stevens.
It means so much. It's surreal every day, but ultimately I know I'm just living out that dream that my 8th grade self had. When I remember going to that second state convention my 8th grade year and I looked at the 2022 state officer team, just seeing how much joy they had on that stage really was the moment that was like, I want to be able to have that same impact that they had on me. The one-on-one conversations, just being able to instill great confidence in others, I knew I wanted to be able to do that.
And now, Ramiah will get that opportunity despite joining the organization 6 years ago with very limited agricultural experience. It's just the latest example of how FFA is now appealing to a much broader base.
You don't have to start from the moment you're in diapers to be someone and be an advocate for agriculture. Get involved, learn about FFA, find your place. There's so many different aspects in FFA where you can be to learn more about agriculture. And so don't think that your roots have to start in agriculture to be someone and something involved in FFA and agriculture.
While Ramiah's passion for agriculture has grown over the years, it was one particular segment of it that really drew her attention from an early age.
Ultimately, just my love for plants. I started, in 6th grade, my first plant was a rosemary. And, this year I kind of was able to have a full circle moment being able to plant a rosemary again. But ultimately, I've been able to have different experiences. With my supervised agriculture experience, I was able to go down the road to a local florist, and she helped me just learn so many things about the horticulture industry, the marketing side, the money side, and then honestly, just how she's able to grow her business.
Creating a sense of community is an aspect of FFA that has left a lasting impression on the new state president, as her ever-growing network of friends and followers showcase what the organization is all about.
Honestly, I think it means support and family, being able to know that family is outside of blood. FFA, I feel like I spend 24 hours here at my school, whether it's eating snacks, hanging with my teammates, or just when we're in the hotels, just being able to be friends and family and just being able to have that support. I know that ultimately, throughout this long experience, that if I didn't have my FFA family, I would not be here today where I am.
Along with that support, it did take plenty of hard work and determination to realize her dream. However, it's a sacrifice Ramiah has zero regrets about.
From the process from area office to state office, it was a lot of work, a lot of dedicated time, a lot of time to strain my focus only on state office and having to sometimes say no to other things to complete focus on this. But ultimately, I knew it was going to be worth it in the end, and it 100% was.
Again, that was Damon Jones reporting. Thanks so much, Damon. When we come back, it's off to Thomas County to spend time with a woman who's balancing 5 generations of tradition while leading a new era of advocacy for Georgia agriculture. The story of Julie Hardy, next.
Here in Cohutta, what started off as a hobby and an excuse to get up and moving quickly turned into a passion for this beekeeper, Scott Bates, owner of NWGA Busy Bees, a small family apiary business that has grown from the ground up over the last few years.
We started out, like you said, as a hobby 2 years ago. This is our 3rd year. I had weight loss surgery, so I needed something to take up my time. My wife had gardens that weren't doing very well, so we just started with 2 beehives, and what becomes a hobby quickly becomes a passion. And so we started with the 2, we grew to 6, and now we're up to 12 hives. And our hopes and desires will be 50 to 100 hives.
For Bates, the entire process has been a learning experience to get his bee population to where it is today. as he says starting out as a hobbyist required him to do some self-education and get help from other beekeepers.
We start a lot, do a lot of research, YouTube videos. There's a huge bee community, so you start asking and growing with that bee community. Every year you do split your bees so that they don't swarm. So it's just a multiplication game. As they start multiplying in early spring, you start splitting, and you either sell those off if you don't want to grow, or you continue to grow. So our 2 has grown into 6, has grown into 12. So next year we hope to have at least about 25 hives.
Over the last couple of years, Bates says his business has really taken off, as he now sells a variety of products that are made from the fresh honey produced by his bees. Things such as lip balm, butter, lotions, and of course, raw unfiltered honey.
We have a great online presence. What we did find out though is just like with your garden, that you have foods that you can make into multiple items, that with the bees not only do you have the honey, but you have the beeswax that you can turn into natural products for people. There's a huge market for all natural products, so we are trying to give those to the people that need them.
Bates says that demand for his products has continued to grow as more and more people continue to discover the benefits of raw local honey for their health.
Local wildflower honey has, if it is unfiltered, so it is strained, but it is unfiltered, still has the vitamins and the minerals and the local pollen. So just as you would get shots for asthma, and if you were allergic or had allergies, you would get shots. If you take local pollen, local honey, then you're going to get that same dose in that local honey that is not chemically induced. So therefore you get those health benefits from that local honey.
Reporting in Cohutta for the Farm Monitor, I'm John Holcomb.
A farmer by trade, an advocate by conviction, Julie Hardy was raised in the fields of South Georgia and today stands at the forefront of agricultural leadership as chair of the Georgia Farm Bureau Women's Committee. Her story is one of commitment and a growing urgency to speak up for farmers, for families, and for the future of rural America. Recently, I traveled to Thomas County where Julie opened up about her life on the farm, the values that drive her, and the mission that keeps her voice strong. Just beyond the dusty trails and cotton rows of Thomas County lies a patch of farmland that has told the story of one family for over 5 generations. It's here, amid the hum of tractors and the low bellow of cattle, that Julie Hardy found her calling. Not just in cultivating the soil beneath her boots, but in cultivating change for Georgia agriculture. We are sitting on pretty much where it all began for you guys. Not too far behind me, the house where it began 5 generations ago. Talk about that, Julie, just being a part of that history.
Yes, so right behind you is where my great-great-grandparents' homestead was. And we're still farming the same ground today. There's cotton planted back there now and over here. So we still farm that same ground today. My great-grandpa was born in 1900, so it would have been in the 1800s whenever this was first established as our farm. So yeah, we've been here ever since. It's just passed down from generation to generation. My brother and I are the 5th generation to farm this land, and we both have a daughter each. So hopefully it'll go on for more after us.
Julie's legacy is more than generational. It's intentional. After years of working in research, merchandising, and agribusiness, she found herself drawn back to the red clay roots of her childhood. And yes, she serves as chair of the Georgia Farm Bureau Women's Committee, but her impact stretches far beyond titles, advocating for farmers, educating the public, and sharing her story with heartfelt purpose.
I've only been back on the farm full-time for a few years now. I've worked in research, corn seed research. I've been a grain merchandiser. I've worked for a cotton gin. So I've worked in different aspects of agriculture, but only on the farm full time for the last few years. But it's something I've been striving to do since I've graduated from college was to get back here. And my husband a few years ago said, you know, that's what you want to do, that's your passion, let's do it. I grew up here on this same land. I grew up that way. And I've just been here my whole life, and it's part of you. And when you leave, you get a homesick feeling. So, but now I'm home, and I've never been happier. Farm Bureau has opened so many doors for me, doors I didn't even know were there. If you let the right people, let everyone know that you want to do as much as you can, there's unlimited possibilities. I've done the Women's Leadership Boot Camp. I've been to Washington, D.C. I've been to the AFBF conventions. You can do as much or as little as you want, and I've met some amazing people. And like I said, I've done things that I didn't even imagine I would be able to do. My favorite thing is going to Washington, D.C. and advocating on the Hill for issues going on back here at home. And I feel like that in our family farm, I'm the one that can do that. You know, my brother is running the operation, the day-to-day, the farming, the tractor driving, the equipment operating. So I'm the one that has the ability to be able to do that. And I'm so glad, so grateful for Farm Bureau for giving me that avenue to be able to do what I've always wanted to do.
One of Julie's most powerful tools, social media, especially Facebook. Whether it's highlighting life on the farm, sharing ag facts, or rallying support for farmers across the state, Julie uses her online presence to connect with whomever is willing to engage. Her posts, equal part educational and personal, offering a behind-the-scenes look at what it truly means to be rooted in agriculture. In an age where digital connection matters more than ever, Julie is proving that farm advocacy isn't just done out in the field, it's done with a smartphone and a message worth spreading.
My husband came up with the name. It's the Agucator. It's like educator, but ag instead of ed. And I just share our family's farm story on it. What we're doing, why we do things the way we do. I'm just trying to show the general population that we are the norm. You know, you hear about big ag and corporate farming and all those kind of things, and that is not the norm. What we're doing here is what 98% of the farms in America are doing. We are the norm. We're not the exception. So I just want the world to know that people just like us who are producing your food and fiber.
We hear so much, Julie, about input costs and prices for commodities and things like that. What are some of the more concerning issues for you personally?
Those are very big concerns of ours. Input prices have gone through the roof the last few years, since COVID really. And while they have come down some, the commodity prices have come down at a much sharper rate. So input costs are still high, and the commodity prices are way lower than they were, 5 years ago. And we're working off of a 2018 Farm Bill. 2018 was pre-COVID. That's a lifetime ago now. It is so outdated, and that is something that we massively need. They've got to get the Farm Bill updated, because we're working off outdated numbers, outdated prices. None of it is relevant anymore. And I just really urge Congress to please do your job and get a Farm Bill done.
With one foot in the field and another in the fight for ag policy, Julie has emerged as a voice for farmers across Georgia. Grounded in heritage and fueled by purpose, she's a fierce advocate, a fearless communicator, and perhaps one day, a public servant in her own right.
Right now, we've got great representation. Chaz Cannon is my state rep, and Sam Watson is my state senator, and they're doing a great job. I would love what they're doing. But if something came up and the opportunity arose, then I would definitely be interested in public office at some point. We're just like you, and we have the same concerns, the same issues as any other family. And we're out here every day working, and it's just what we do, it's what we love, it's a lifestyle. It's hard, but we love it, it's just what we do.
She's a good one, that's for sure. Up next, meet the peach farmer who's part grower, part appraiser, and full-time busy. why summer's sweetest fruit is no walk in the orchard. Finally this week, here at The Monitor, we talk about peach season all the time. But let's be honest, how many of us actually know what it takes to get those sweet Georgia peaches from the orchard to our tables? Spoiler alert, it's a lot more work than you might think. Our Jennifer Parson found that out firsthand when she rolled up her sleeves and visited a peach grower in Pike County.
So these are some of the first peaches that I'll get ready.
Stuart Gregg says he's always seen himself working with his family on their family farm.
Yeah, you get about 3 or 4 bushels off of these.
A college graduate with a business degree, when he's not helping on the farm, he's serving his community as a real estate appraiser.
So we all have different jobs. Once it starts, we're all hands on deck here too.
Peach season typically begins middle of May and runs through mid-September. But getting those trees ready is a year-round process.
We plant peach trees and they take about 4 years to grow and start producing peaches. It's all by hand. You get a shovel, stick it in. There's no tractor or anything involved in that. After that, about mid-April, we'll start fertilizing. We have to fertilize every single one of those trees with a shovel. We're tossing a shovel full of fertilizer on there. In the wintertime, they have to have over 1,000 hours of cold, and that's anything under 40 degrees or less. But once they start blooming, we can't have any more cold weather. Any frost will kill them. We actually have already thinned some of these. As you can see, there's peaches on the ground right here that we've already knocked off. So you got to kind of thin them out because, I mean, when they first bloom and we haven't been thinned out, there's peaches all lined up against these limbs, and they'll start breaking the limbs as they get too big. So we kind of thin them out to save the tree and to make peach trees produce a bigger peach. It's not easy at all. The amount of trimming and the amount of pruning, spraying, fertilizing, picking, and then, if it rains, they can get rot on them, so you got to spray them again. So it's very intensive. You pick peaches by hand. There's no other way to do it. We have crews that work, and sometimes I end up picking, but you have buckets that are harnessed to your front, and you just start picking by hand, and then you load them into a box, and we just have a trailer pulling it and keep on going.
By summer, Gregg Farms will open to the public, where you can have a go at picking your own peaches.
So we have over 20 different varieties out here. Each variety starts at different times.
Did you know there are 2 types of peaches, cling and freestone?
And the early peaches are called cling peaches because the seed doesn't come away from the meat, so you have to cut around it. But once you get into about July 4th and later, they're all freestones. Those are the ones you like because they've been on the tree the longest, they're sweeter, and like when you cut them, when you pull the peach apart, the seed's right in the middle and you can just pull it right out.
They offer you-pick blueberries, jams, jellies, and barbecue sauces too.
We do peach ice cream and strawberry ice cream, or you can get it swirled together and have peach strawberry ice cream.
Over the years, their visitors have grown from just avid canners to experience seekers.
It's more of people coming to pick one bucket and just hanging out here, not really going home to can anymore, but it's like I've noticed that, it's a lot more younger people my age coming out. People tell me that this is a first date spot.
And although the process to grow peaches hasn't changed much over the years, the ability to teach people how they grow has.
I'd say our biggest change would be like social media. We're able to post things and talk about what's going on when people aren't here. It doesn't just show up in the grocery store every day. It takes a lot of work to get in there. Be appreciative of the small farm. Come support the small farm too. It's the backbone of the community.
Again, that was Jennifer Parson reporting. Well, before we leave you, don't forget, if you're looking for all the latest ag news and what's happening on Georgia farms, be sure you check out all of our social media platforms, including farm-monitor.com. For everyone here at the show, thanks for watching, stay safe, and as always, have a great week.